Be advised, the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
You are watching the Business Portal, your gateway to business trends and opportunities. Good morning. Good morning, I'm MARYBETH NAVE. Welcome to the Workplace, where we show you how to make the most out of your profession and give you the latest career trends to stay ahead of the corporate game. In today's episode, we will be talking about wellness in the workplace. It has been established along that, workplace with schools and hospitals that it is one of the priority settings for health promotion. Now, of course, in the new year, we have about 24 million students going back to school, and most of us will be going back to work. So today, to enlighten us on the topic of wellness in the workplace, we have none other than Miss Deanne Hernandez. She is a resource person for complementary alternative medicine, especially energy medicine. Now, to know more about her extensive experience in this topic, let's find out through Deanne, of course. Now, again, welcome to the show.
Thank you, MARYBETH, for having me here as your first guest for 2011.
I know, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year to all our GNN viewers and subscribers out there. The gift of wellness is the topic that MARYBETH and I will be presenting to you as our gift for all of our viewers for patronizing us the whole year last year.
Right.
And hopefully you'll stay with us for the rest of 2011. The reason why I have agreed to call myself now the Dean of Wellness is because I have been a human resource development resource of the country since 1971, MARYBETH.
Wow,
and I was the training director of then City Trust, which is now part of the PPI bank family. Okay. When I was training director for several years, I found out that even if you give the workers from officers to the last contractual security guard in the banks, even if you give them job skills, I used to offer them what I call now wellness training, but it used to be called stress management.
Right, and a lot of people tend to be stressed nowadays.
What do you recall from your shows last year, MARYBETH, to be one of the most critical workplace challenges?
One of the most critical, I guess, based from the guests and those people who have messaged me online, they don't know how to balance their
so it's work-life balance.
Work-life balance was the major topic, wherein a lot of employees would usually work, and when they'd go home, they'd still feel that extra stress, and going to work was just such a drag.
Okay, the word stress, like any thing in this world, because almost everything in the universe runs on parallel systems, and you have the positive and the negative. So when you talk about positive stress, which is very good,
Eustress.
It's eustress or eustress. Okay, these are the things that make Charis Piempenko perform very well with Celine Dion, even though she gets butterflies in her stomach. Or we do when we go on board on a show.
Right now.
Like I used to perform with the ambivalent crowd. And of course, part of the positive stress is you get nervous about what will the audience be like? Will we have a lot of applause? Will anybody, make a mistake and all that? But the killer stress is the negative stress.
De-stress.
Distress, D-I-S, distress, is actually caused by when you're not able to balance your work and your life with family and friends, okay? And this is where the stress management that I used to offer the Citicorp people, this is the Citibank, City Financial as it's known today, and it got bought by City Trust, got bought by the BPI family bank.
Right. Now, so for all of our viewers who's actually watching, it's a new year. There should be a new you. And to balance everything off, we will be talking about wellness in the workplace. So that's why Dean again is here to talk about more of this topic. So again, if you have any questions or concerns, you could text the studio anytime and join our discussion. So Dean, let's start off.
Okay, let's start off. Okay,
Wellness.
let's start first with the 5 different segments of wellness, which I have researched through the years. First aspect is the physical and self-care.
Okay.
Because we are physical beings, you really have to take care of exercise, nutrition, your water intake. Because a lot of people, especially those in call centers, between the aircon and the night shift and the coffee for lunch, you really have to take a lot of fluids, whether soup, soda, or what. But some people don't get thirsty as much as they should.
So it doesn't necessarily mean if you don't get thirsty, your body doesn't need fluids. So even if you're not thirsty, you have to have a regular intake
My
of
mother,
fluids.
when she got hospitalized at 84, didn't get thirsty as much. And I know of young ladies in your age group who are working for call centers and they don't get thirsty. My suggestion is turn your alarm on every 2 hours, okay? The prescribed ideal dosage for people who work very hard in call centers and in professions that are similar, you should be taking 2 Coke litro
of water?
fluids.
Fluids.
It could be soup, soda, coffee.
But doesn't
tea.
that counter? Like sodas tend to drain the body versus water tends to hydrate the body.
Well, ideally, really, the soda companies won't like us very much. But ideally, just take water.
Okay.
Okay, ideally, just take water or soup, substitutes. Coffee, caffeine. I am a Reiki master. My Reiki master has told me, although I have a daughter who's vegetarian and pure vegan, you can take anything, meat, all in moderation. In other words, let your taste buds enjoy, because we were meant to enjoy life here on earth. You don't have to fast and abstain. You can take sodas, but all in moderation.
No excess, yeah.
Yeah.
Too much in excess.
Too much in excess,
is
that's
always
when
not good.
the stress starts to multiply. Okay? You have the work stress of delivering your goals or your number of calls or your sales targets. So all of this starts to build up, and then if you're not kind when it comes to your food and beverage diet, that's when you start developing gastritis, diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, and all of those things, simply because you are not hydrating and eating the correct foods. The other thing about physical care, Marybeth, is sleep. Do
Okay.
you sleep well?
I do, but that's a good question. When you say proper hours of sleep, do we really need 8 hours of sleep?
Okay. Every human being is different, and depending on your lifestyle, the ideal in general is before you start working, is you should get 7 to 8 hours sleep.
Okay.
All right. Now, the quality of sleep for me is even more important. You can get a cat power nap of 40 minutes and feel as though you had an 8-hour sleep,
Okay.
a good sleep. So you could have 10 hours of sleep, but if it's a lightheaded kind of sleep that's not deep enough, not restful, then you could have a 4-hour very deep sleep, which would be better than your 10 to 12 hours.
Now, what is the ideal time that each individual should nap? Because they're saying that I think if there's a certain hour, for example, from 9 till 12, there's the body tends to release this healing type of oxidant in the body. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but is that true?
Well, there's this book that I use. It's called Fit for Life. Okay, it's supposed to espouse or let us know that there are 4 cycles. Between 4 in the morning and 12 noon, the body is expelling all the debris from nutrition taken the day before.
Okay.
And so it's most ideal that you don't take any food like tapsilog. You take only fruits or water soluble beverages and food before 12. At noontime, which is the assimilation time up to 8 o'clock in the evening, that is the time that you take all your solid meats, veggies, and things. The moment 8 o'clock hits, no more food. That's why you have people nothing after 6. So up to 8 o'clock. After 8 up to 4 the next morning, that's the time your body processes already the nutrition that you took in.
Okay.
And you should not divert the energy by having midnight snacks at 12.
Really? You're diverting energy if you wake up and say, oh, I'm hungry, I want to take some midnight
the
snack.
body systems are trying to process the food that you took between 12 and 8.
Okay.
So what do call center people do? Because their time zones are different.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
That's why it's very important that you take care of your wellness, because in my lifetime, I turned 60 the other day, although I feel 16. I don't think there are any professions that does not have an occupational hazard. If you were a doctor, a resident assigned to ER, or you're studying internship, you go through this 36-hour days where you have very little sleep because you're supposed to have an endurance kind of thing.
Right.
If you are a farmer, you're exposed to sun and tilling the rice fields. There's also some kind of occupational hardship there. If you're a pilot, you go through the time zones, the jet lags, and all that. So life here can be challenging, but since I'm one of the pillars and the nurturers of the BPO call center industry in the country, we have grown from 15,000 call center agents. We're now in 800,000 levels. And it's been 10 years, so it can't be all that bad.
Okay.
So it's how do we manage the stress?
How should we manage the stress? I mean,
Well,
you
okay.
said there are a lot of occupational hazards in the different areas of our work. So how does one manage that? I mean,
Okay, every person, Mary Beth, is different.
Yes.
Because first you have your genes, your DNA genetics, how you were raised, and your lifestyle, how you eat, how you keep your hours is very individual to the person. So what we have from our health books and guides are suggestions. But the end of the day, it's very simple to manage your wellness. Number 1, what makes you feel good?
but not everything that makes you feel good is good.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
when you start having your choices, number 1 is like sleeping early, sleeping for 12 hours. When you wake up, do you feel more tired or rested?
Okay.
That's what I mean. You know, you try to assess when you choose. Do I drink soda for this lunchtime, or do I take plain water? If you take water begrudgingly and you don't feel good about it because you wanted a soda so bad, you counter the positive effect because you didn't enjoy making the choice to just drink plain water, right? So one criteria is, does it make you feel good? That's on the physical, feel.
Okay.
The second criteria is more on the spiritual, emotional side. Did your choice make your physical lips smile and your heart smile? It's a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction in what you chose to do.
Okay.
Like, I am not athletic. I prefer to dance, I prefer to sing. Although I want to play basketball or volleyball or go mountain biking, it just doesn't